Hi, everyone. Welcome you all today's learning session on accelerating locally led actions through the START Fund. Thank you all for joining the webinar. Before we begin, please ensure you join the correct language channel. At the bottom of your Zoom window, you will be able to select this channel to join out of English, Spanish, and French. This will ensure you can listen to the relevant interpretation. So my name is Sajid Raihan. I'm leading the START network programs in Bangladesh. And I am facilitating. I have two panelists with me today. So before we hear from the panel, let me introduce you to the START Fund briefly. Yeah. So in START Network, our vision is for a locally led humanitarian system that is accountable to people. Just give me a moment. I'm hearing the French. Sorry for the interruption. So let me go through the objective of the session and the briefing on the START Fund. So in START Network, our vision is for a locally led humanitarian system that is accountable to people affected by and at risk of crisis. We aim to achieve this vision by making system-level shifts in the way humanitarian support is approached and delivered. The START funds are innovative by design and guided by principles including performance excellence, whereby we seek to continually improve, simplify, take risks, and be courageous and forward-looking. And subsidiarity, which is obliging us to operate as locally as possible and as international as necessary, all while building and maintaining trusts and accountability over the system and among the members. So the number of initiatives are currently underway that aim to make the Global START Fund more inclusive and accessible to an increasingly diverse network membership and to accelerate locally led humanitarian action in furtherance of our system change vision. Now, the START Fund initiatives, it fall under the four themes that you see on the screen. Firstly, they aim to unlock more funding for the increasingly diverse START network membership to tier due diligence and organizational strengthening grants. Second, We are striving to adopt the START Fund to enable more equitable access by these diverse members through adaptations in the START Fund processes. And third, more START funding is being disbursed to national and local NGOs so they are able to lead humanitarian action. So in 2021, for the Global START Fund reported just 1.3% of overall disbursements went directly to local and national NGOs. As of September this year, just in 9 months, 4.6% of overall funds disbursements has gone to LNGOs. So we are gradually and slowly going there to achieve our missions. So the fourth theme and the final theme is increasing our learning and contributing to learning in the sector around approaches to locally led humanitarian action. We will now have a conversation with the representatives of two START network members to hear their perspectives on the extent to which START Fund has enabled locally led actions. We have with us Damaris Guardado. She is a project manager working with Provida, a national humanitarian NGO working across El Salvador. Provida has been a START network member since 2016. Our second panelist is Tirtha Prasad Saikia, a joint director working with the Northeast Affected Area Development Society, or NEEDS, a volunteers-centered grassroots development organization in Assam, India. NEEDS has been a START network member since 2020. So I will be, sharing my screen. I will be stopping to share my screen now, and we'll be requesting our panelists to come on the screen. And I have now some questions for the panelists, and I will request them to make the responses within 2 minutes time so that we can finish on time. So my first question to Damaris Provida is, as Provida has been a START network member for many years, and as a national Salvadorian organization, what is the gap that START Fund fills in the humanitarian financing scale? Damaris, over to you.
Sí, claro. Sí, Provida, como tú dijiste, es miembro de la red desde el 2016, cuando tuvimos la oportunidad de poder integrarnos a esta red. Fue una experiencia realmente gratificante porque al ser una ONG local, no veíamos aspiraciones a poder ser parte de la membresía de esta gran red. Inicialmente tuvimos que pasar una due diligence, un proceso costoso que por tantos requerimientos, pues al inicio no pasábamos, no lográbamos cumplir, y poco a poco nos fueron asesorando. Eso fue en el 2015 y ya pues en el 2016 nos dieron la buena noticia que sí aplicábamos para poder ser parte de la red.
Thank you, Damaris. So my question to NEEDS now, Tirtha. So NEEDS is a local grassroots organization in Assam, India. And as a grassroots organization, what do you see as the value of START Fund in comparison with other financing mechanisms? So over to you, Tirtha.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's a privilege and honor to be part of this panel discussion, accelerating locally led action through START Fund. Being a local humanitarian organization rooted directly in the communities, there is a great value we see by associating as a member with the Global START Fund mechanism. First of all, START Fund is promoting locally led humanitarian action. That is really a kind of significant changes we can see in the communities while responding to humanitarian crisis that is happening around in our communities, basically floods. And there is also kind of the system is very proactive, very faster, and it's a very community-centered approach. And we really we are very much positive to access this rapid financing system through Start Fund. For the last 2 to 3 decades, we have been responding to different humanitarian crises in Assam, in northeast part of India, but that is not up to the level that we foresee when we go to respond in communities. But after getting associated with the Start Fund process, we are able to quickly assess to the Start Fund, especially when we take the example of Assam flood 2022, we were able to raise an alert, and then we were able to access Start Fund. Then we were able to go directly to the communities at a very short time to address the immediate gaps. So that's the Start Fund process is very proactive, faster, and also community-centered. And it's a very timely process to support communities. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Tirtha. So over to you, Damaris, again. So as we always talk about, transferring money to an organization alone does not directly empower local communities. So it's not a linear process. So what Provida as an organization is doing to shift power to the communities?
Bueno, nosotros realmente consideramos de que con el fondo que permite Star Network, como Provida sí hemos logrado que las comunidades tengan poder, porque los proyectos que diseñamos, desde la primera alerta que pudimos presentar en el año 2017, que fue a consecuencia de inundaciones en el departamento de Chalatenango, fueron los líderes de las comunidades quienes hicieron el diseño, en qué comunidades había que intervenir y qué era lo que ellos necesitaban inmediatamente. Entonces, desde el 2017 que se tuvo esa primera alerta, ya las comunidades con las que trabajamos están pendientes. Inclusive este año por primera vez se presentó también una alerta anticipatoria y ellos están muy, como comunidades, el liderazgo está muy empapado y está preguntando qué otras oportunidades pueden tener ellos, y siempre están llamándonos, especialmente en esta temporada que es la temporada de las lluvias acá en Centroamérica, donde acá nuestro país, así como el resto de Centroamérica, tenemos tantas vulnerabilidades que sabemos que quizás 2 días de lluvia en otros países no es nada, pero acá deja grandes desastres. Entonces las comunidades han podido sentir y decidir sobre cómo utilizar el dinero que Provida logra gestionar en la red.
Thank you, Damaris. So Tirtha, I have the same question for you, how you are empowering local communities and how you are shifting power to the community.
Yes, thank you, sir. One of the wonderful questions. First of all, being a hyper local organization based in communities, when we do respond in any emergency crisis point of time, we have coordination with the community-based organization or community institutions that we promote in communities in our operational areas. Suppose we are particularly responding to a crisis that is confined in our operational areas, we do promote community-based institutions like kind of village disaster management committees or village development committees who can directly take part in the process of rapid needs assessment and who participate in identification of beneficiaries, managing the supply chain, taking decision in the supply chain process, then take part in the implementation. They do supervision and monitoring at their site. So this process actually is one of the empowering steps that shift power to the communities from an organization. We become very much closer to the communities in the process of humanitarian response. For example, like in the recent Assam flood response, when we did operational, when we actually strategized the whole operations, we had collaboration with the community-based institution, and with the existing community-based organization, they were very much supportive in extending their decision, extending their participation in identifying the worst affected communities. So in that process, we were able to tap the real needy families who are really affected, and identifying the real needs of the communities. That was actually in participation with them. So that's how community-based organization or community institutions or people's organization who are emerging from the targeted areas, they actually play a major role in exercising the power along with the member organization like us. So this is our actually job, how we empower the process with the people's organization. And we believe that people have that commitment and they have that willingness to support an organization like us who are going in time to support their immediate needs and gaps when a crisis hit them. So it's up. So in that process, we see a significant change that is actually emerging. The trust is automatically building between the organization like us and the community where we are responding. I think in that process or in that strategy, it's our duty or it's our role to initiate process in a humanitarian crisis that where we work on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tirtha. So, Tamaris, so Provida is a member since 2016, and it has engaged with Start Fund for a number of years. And you have experienced changes occurring within the mechanisms over the years. So from your experience, how have you experienced those evolutions of the Start Fund? So from your end, how you see the evolution? How do you kind of, what's your reflections on the evolutions happening within the Start Fund mechanisms?
Bueno, realmente estos años han sido unos años de gran avance. Yo estoy muy satisfecha como parte de Provida de que podamos ser miembros de esta gran red, porque cuando llegamos en el 2017, los vacíos para que nosotros sentíamos eran grandes. Primero, no habían traducciones, no había interpretaciones en ninguna reunión. Nosotros siempre lo solicitábamos, pero no era posible, ¿verdad? Entonces tratábamos ahí de estar en las reuniones, pero no lográbamos comprender todo, ¿verdad? Y poco a poco hemos ido viendo ese avance, no solamente en ese aspecto, pero para nosotros es importante porque ahora en el del 17 al 2022 no solamente vemos interpretaciones en las reuniones, sino que también tenemos talleres en español, cómo escribir alertas de emergencia, cómo escribir alertas anticipatorias, cómo escribir alertas, cómo hacer los informes. Todo eso no estaba. Entonces, es un gran paso porque inclusive te sirve para como membresía aprender cómo debes hacer mejor las cosas y los mecanismos a utilizar. Nos han enseñado también, la inducción ha mejorado muchísimo. Ahora, ya en el 2020, creo que todos podemos acceder a una carpeta donde te explican, inclusive, como te decía, cómo se puede escribir los reportes finales de las alertas, que cuando lo haces por primera vez, tú dices, ¿y aquí por dónde empiezo? Entonces, estamos muy satisfechos como Provida de los avances que se han visto, no solamente en el tema lingüístico, sino también en el tema de organizar, de inducir y cómo acompañar a la membresía para empaparse y fortalecerse en todos los aspectos.
So thank you, Damaris. I think it's a good sense of appreciation from, El Salvador. So I will be now returning to Tirtha. So NEEDS is a relatively new organization because NEEDS is a member since 2020. And they're recently successful in alerting to floods in Assam and securing funds through the START Fund. So Tirtha, what aspect of the fund mechanism that have been helpful for needs in securing this particular award? So
Yes.
it would be good to have your experience as a new organization. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Our experience is like, I think between START Fund and the needs, we have better coordination and communication. We have one-to-one coordination, and we have maybe coordination between different teams and processes and mechanisms. We do participate in different trainings that is organized on response alert cycle, sometimes through online mode or sometimes through Skype, sometimes in different means, sometimes in the hub as well in India. So START Network, they have been extending different trainings, different learning sessions for members like us, and encouraging us continuously to come up with response alert, response proposal, anticipatory alert, etc. So from time to time, we have been inspired, we have been encouraged by the team from the START Fund to come up with our own ideas for raising an alert. So it's from the ground. We are raising information. We are coming up with different sort of data. Whereas START Fund team, the dedicated START Fund team, they have been supporting us how to frame it into a response alert, how we should come up with a proposal, how better you can narrate a response alert. So there were a lot of periodic trainings that happened in the past. In 2022, we had this opportunity to raise the alert from our side in India. We took the initiative of drafting the alert for the Assam flood 2022. And that was kind of a very successful journey at the very beginning for us being associated with the START Fund. But unfortunately, the START Fund alert was not activated in the first attempt. There was confusion in the allocation committee meeting. But again, when we were given guidance and suggestion, and special recommendations actually came up from the dedicated team staff from the START Fund, we are able to go through a successful activation of the alert. And at the regional level, especially in the South Asia, we had a specific person who is providing us technical inputs, support, then guidance and encouragement in each and every step. We are really looking forward for such proactive and vibrant partnership at different level. So being a local organization, it was a kind of great achievement while our response alert was activated and we were able to secure our proposal to address the immediate gaps in the communities.
Thank you, Tirtha. Thank you. We only have 5 minutes left, and I have just 2 questions. I will be expecting a shorter answer from you. So with all the good words said, what are the barriers you continue to face in engaging with and accessing the START Fund? So Damaris, over to you.
Hola, sí, en cuanto a barreras, como te decía, personalmente como organización estamos muy satisfechos. Todas las barreras que sentíamos se han ido poco a poco desapareciendo, que una era la barrera lingüística, luego el hecho de la inducción, de no tenerla concisa, poco a poco también se superó con todos los talleres que ha preparado Star Network, para todos los fondos y poder aplicar. Estamos muy contentos y creo que pues de momento yo diría hemos superado todo lo que veíamos como obstáculo.
Thank you, Damaris. So Tirtha, over to you. All the same questions, the barriers.
Yes, there are challenges sometimes we feel of, like there are different elements, different mechanisms, START Fund, they would like to extend in form of support to us, but we have lack of understanding on that. We had experience of raising an anticipatory alert in Assam for Assam flood, but there are a lot of scopes and possibilities we see with the Start Fund process, which we are not able to access. Like there are example of anticipatory tool grant or alert for anticipation of crisis. We have actually lack of expertise, lack of information of that. I think we need further technological support, further technical inputs. Maybe we need exposure to look at or to experience the best practices other organizations they are doing of. Then I think all these good processes and good exposure, we need to grab it. There are barriers in understanding the concepts for some of the elements of the Start Fund. We are looking forward to learn and get the ideas from those. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Tirtha. So the final question, what are some ways in which the Start Fund can continue to develop in order to accelerate the locally led action? So any recommendation, suggestion from Damaris?
Sí, quizás la única recomendación que sí quiero que se continúe, la han estado haciendo, pero que se continúe es el tema del acompañamiento en el proceso de la due diligence para las organizaciones. Creo que en todo el proceso, estos años que tenemos de ser miembros, hemos pasado dos, la del 2015 y ahora la del 2022. Es una parte difícil para las organizaciones pequeñas como Provida, pero sí agradecemos el acompañamiento y solicitamos a Star Network que siempre lo haga, porque de esa forma pues logramos avanzar y mejorar también como institución. Gracias.
Thank you, Damaris. So Tirtha, very briefly, what do
Yeah.
you think some of the ways for the development? Yeah.
Yes, I think Start Fund should have constant support and guidance to local organizations like us, or they should promote locally led humanitarian response in any context. And I think promoting organizational strengthening program among the local organization like us in the world, that will be more empowering process to build capacities of local organization or promote locally led action in the context of humanitarian crisis and response. So that organization have better governance, credibility, organizational management process and learnings, etc. And I think in the global humanitarian architecture, promoting local leadership will be very important, and Start Fund can play a very vital role in this process of promoting local leadership. Start Fund should have special strategies and attention for local organization in the world globally. Yeah, that's from my side. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Tirtha, and thank you, Damaris. On Thursday, there will be an opportunity to continue the discussion together. I've also seen there are some questions in the chat. We will be discussing those probably during the next session on Thursday. And we will try to understand how Start Fund can continue to evolve to be more inclusive and equitable and enable a locally led humanitarian action, and how members of all profiles can contribute towards this aim. So please join the build session entitled Building an Inclusive Global Start Fund, scheduled for 3 p.m. on Thursday. So thank you again to the panelists and to all the listeners and viewers for participating in this session. We look forward to the next 2 days of the Start Network Assembly. So thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, everyone.